Hey, the Canadian Tabletop Championships are over, and we have the results of the Bold Action tournament that has taken place there. Now, the Canadian Tabletop Championships have been running for a few years now, and Bold Action is trying to sort of get a stable presence there, and so the Canadians are actually trying to build a national tournament, a national group. This is their national championship. Now it's not big yet, and I know that there were a few American players that had to like come over the border and play there. Had to? No, they didn't have to, right? They did, but I really encourage this. That it's great to see Bold Action taking off in Canada. I really hope to see them join us at the WTC with a team and stuff like that. It is an amazing hobby that we're into, all of us. So let me show you what happened. Just a sec, and here we have it. Right. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do. Sorry, that was the wrong tournament. So this is the not Operation Cricket. This is the Canadian Tabletop Championships. The results. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do a pre-video. It was right in the middle of me going to the Spanish Nationals and everything else. So I'm doing this post the event. I did write to Paul, the event organizer, what I thought my predictions was going to be. Based on what he had sent me. So it was 1,000 points. It was, as I understand it, single generic or single theatre platoon, which I think theatre platoons are way stronger than generic platoons in many respects, because many of them you can take doubled, like tanks or whatever. There were 14 players, so if you're in Canada or if you have the possibility of going to Canada to play in the event next year, do so. We need to get them up to 20. Or more, and they played 6 games, which is a very, very good amount, because that will mean you have a good distribution of players. Everyone can sort of get to play everyone else, more or less. You really have like the broadest possible foundation for your results. I love that. There was a 16 order dice cap, which none of the players went to. And theme was heavily encouraged, so you had to like pick out a year, pick out a theater, pick out whatever, and then just explain your army for that, right? So not an event where I would do particularly well, but you know, a lot of people like that, and I can see why. So my prediction were that these 5 lists would do well. One of them, I don't actually know who ran this one. I'm sorry. The lists didn't have names, so I couldn't actually figure out who was playing what. But the first one was Tony's list, which had 14 order dice. It was Soviets. It was a faux tank platoon with a lot of barbecue in it. That was a good build for Soviets, a very strong build. Not necessarily something that we wouldn't see in Europe at all. It was very recognizable in many respects. So I think Tony was a very strong contender going into this. Then we had the 14 order dice Soviet list, which I think was a Silo Heights, because double Stuarts, right? And that is the overpowered stuff you can do with Soviets if you're running theater platoons, right? I don't know who ran this, but again, this was also a very good contender to ending in the top 5 or top 3. Then we had a German list of 14 order dice, which was Western Desert themed. And it had Schutzen, so it had spammed out Schutzen units, which is brilliant because you get the free LMG, and that means you can do a bit of what I call camping Germans, a term I borrowed from the South Africans. So camping Germans is basically when you sit back with Germany and just shoot at range at everything that moves. And that is especially possible when all your infantry units have that 36-inch range, right? Because they have LMGs. That was Alan Tibbetts who ran that platoon. Alan, of course, is well known to me as he has attended the WTC. And I've texted with Alan quite a lot. He's a real good rules digger. He digs into a rule and says what's this actually doing? And then we had finally Daniel's 14 Ordinized Soviets, which was a greatest hits. He had two of everything that he needed, and so he picked out all the best units and then added a bunch of armored vehicles on top of that, which is always a great way to go, right? So I felt like the winners were definitely to be found among these four. Were there others that could do well? Yes, of course. We had a great Maori list as well. We had one list that was German list that had 7 Ordinized and double Death Stars, which I absolutely knew was not going to make top 5. But I guess that player had an absolute blast of a weekend, and I know that the player who came last won the wooden spoon. Paul wrote to me that he had played 3 games before the weekend, and basically he had a blast going to his first real tournament. So that is amazing. Well done, you. Now, what actually happened? Well, the results were pretty much as expected. Daniel, with his Soviets, won, and we'll go and see his list in a minute. Tony was best allied. Alan was best Axis, and I think he took 3rd place overall, something like that. Whereas Tony took 2nd. And best minor nation was Andrew. I'm sorry, I'm not sure I even have Andrew's list here. So there may be a few lists that I'm missing, because I didn't see any minors here. Unless you're counting Italy as a minor, which you shouldn't. So I don't actually know what Andrew ran, but we will go and watch the 3 top players here, Daniel, Tony, and Alan, and check out their lists. So congratulations to everyone going, and I really hope you had a brilliant weekend, all of you. For me, myself, I'm very much looking forward to going back to Canada. Last time I was there, I played a game at a local player's basement, and we had a blast. It was absolutely brilliant. So I do hope to go back someday. Right now, I'm looking into a summer where I'm going to California, so it won't be this year that I'm going to Canada. I can tell you that much. I'm going to San Francisco. And from there we will drive to Sacramento and then Nevada and go north all the way up and see Yellowstone and go back via Bozeman. So I'm going to the US, but Canada will have to wait. Anywho, let me go and show you the lists that these players brought. We have Daniel, the winning list here. So his was 14 Ordinized Soviets. I'm not sure why the 19 points. Someone in the comments, Daniel, Alan, if you're watching this, go tell me what happened there. I'm not sure. So he had a junior lieutenant inexperienced. He had assault engineers with body armor. Very, very hard unit, isn't it? 5-man, double Faust, flamethrower, submachine guns. A single rifle, which is always very clever because you've got that flamethrower that needs someone to load it, right? So you're not going to shoot that rifle. So don't pay extra points for it. And another unit exactly like the first, except it has 1 less Fausts. So that is going to be his punch force. He had 2nd line NKVD squad, which I don't know what is, but they're inexperienced, had a light machine gun. I don't think they need that light machine gun. They're green, but I mean, okay. So a little bit of a horde unit here to go along with the other free rifle squad. You can see that he's basically doubling up on every single unit, right? He has 2 inexperienced units, 2 body armored engineer units. Then he had a heavy mortar team here with a spotter, double dog mines, 2 men each, inexperienced, a light howitzer, a BA-20, Stuart light tank, and double Bren carriers. Now, he also, I don't know how they did that. They had some sort of requisition points, so you could take a second tank selection here. Maybe they were using the Jugger pack, I'm not sure. And of course he brought Katusha, so he had both the Stuart and the Katusha. Very, very powerful, and at the same time he has 4 armored vehicles. He's got the BA-20, which can kill anything, but for me at least, it runs out quite a lot. The Stuart light tank, which can gun down most infantry squads, right? And then double Bren carriers. Very, very cool. Very strong list. This is one of those lists that you know is going to do great, right? The main trouble here is not losing the small amounts of infantry, because he only had 4 infantry units, right? And making sure that the dog mines don't kill your own tanks, which is always that sucks when it happens. Right, second place I think, and best allied commander was Tony. He had also brought Soviets, so 14 order dice, 1,000 points. A junior lieutenant, second line NKVD, so again with the second line NKVD squad. No rifle this time. Light machine gun this time. Better, I like it. Assault engineers, guards, another assault engineers. These are not the the body armored assault engineers, just regular engineers. Large squads of guards. I think I would have actually cut this, but it is a very good outflanker unit, right? But so is that one. So he's got double outflankers. I think I would have cut it in 2 and spent the points on something else. Yeah, bought a few more cavalrymen. So he's got a 5-man cavalry unit. These are very good outflankers and like last turn objective grabbers, but they are not going to stand up in a fight if they're only 5 regular dudes. The free rifle squad, medium mortar, inexperienced. Yes, baby. The way it should be run. Light howitzer, inexperienced. Yes, saving points. BA-20, because of course you do. Light Stuart tank, double Bren carrier, and Katusha as well. So very similar lists here. I mean, it's very clear to see that these players are running greatest hits of the Soviet Union, right? They know exactly what they want. The only thing that's really different here is that there are no dog teams. So the points have all been spent on Panzerfausts and other stuff, not on dog teams. Is that a good idea? Maybe. At least, I mean, you're not in any real danger of blowing up your own tanks. So the final list and best axes is Alan Tibbetts' list here. So 14 order dice, 1,000 points. He brings a support second lieutenant, which has like 2 extra men, and they are trained gunners. That means that they can step in and take the place of artillery pieces when they lose their crew, I guess. Which is a nifty little extra thing you can do here. And then German reinforced platoon. They had apparently allowed Schützen here, so you can see the Schützen here. That's a 6-man unit with the light machine gun. 70 points. Well worth it, I think. This one is veteran. A single storm pioneer. Schützen, LMG team, medium mortar team, inexperienced, regular sniper team, Nebelwerfer, of course. Take it. It's the best thing you can do with the German artillery selection. It's the best thing. Machine gun with motorcycle with machine gun sidecar, also really great. The Hotchkiss has an additional multiple rocket launcher. So normally it's not allowed in generic reinforced platoons. They had obviously done so. You had to pay a single slot point for it, apparently. I don't know why. But this is great because you got the multi-launcher, you got a light AT gun, you got an MMG. You can shoot whatever you need to shoot in that situation. It really gives you a lot of different options. A heavy field car and a Polizei Daker tank. Nice. So double tanks and a lot of shots, right? You can see here that he has so much like direct fire, 36-inch fire, coming out of the list, and what he doesn't shoot with that, he's going to shoot indirectly with his artillery and his mortar, right? Doubled, multiple rocket launchers. Most players are going to struggle against that. Very good list here. Very, very good list from Alan. Right. So, what were the main takeaways? This is going to be my my last thing. For me, I think this shows that bold action is really taking off in Canada, as I feel like it is many different places. I really hope that version 3 continues this trend of more people picking up the game. It certainly feels this way here in Denmark. So good on you, Canada. Welcome to the flock, and let's have more of you gaming. Go out there to the conventions, show off your nice, lovely tables. We're seeing some of them here from the CTC. I mean, it's a brilliant hobby, and get more people to play. The order dice is low, as I would expect. No one was. It says 1250, but it's 1,000 point. No one was actually at the order dice cap of 16, so a lot of players had 14 order dice. I think that if and when the Canadians get, I really hope they do, get a team to go to the WTC or World Open War, they will find that they may be struggling against some of the other competitive teams from Europe. Just on order dice. 12.16 on average, 12.6 on average is a little low. But it's very like the Americans. We've seen this before in the USA, haven't we? So this may be a North American thing. Maybe there is a little bit of faux tanking going on, that people sort of had a view to taking more armor. They like that for competitive purposes, maybe. The sample size is still too small to say anything like definitively, but there may be something there. As we also may say that it does seem like they really like their Soviets in Canada. So maybe Soviets is the thing. Maybe. We will need more data to show this. But so far, so good. That is what we have from the Canadians right now. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.